Wilson almost catch. So we have Wilson to the top of the screen versus a corner with inside leverage. He's trying to win vertically, fade, and comes off the line, split step, foot fire to get on the DB's toes. The DB sits pretty patiently. Not much activity from the feet from the defensive back. Garrett Wilson, as he crosses his plane, his right arm comes in, his inside arm comes in, chops over the top, chops the arm down of the defender, gets even, if not a little bit over the top, and the ball is late and it's late and it's high. You know, you don't want that much air under the ball for a fade route like that for Garrett Wilson, considering their relationship to the sideline. But Garrett Wilson almost catches the ball, or he catches the ball just out of bounds. But it's hell of a job by Garrett Wilson finding the ball, pushing off a little bit of the defender, hand fighting. Obviously, he has some freakish ability to catch the ball with one hand and outside of his frame and things like that because of hand strength, eye coordination, things like that. But we want Wilson to put that a little bit more low. And ideally, you have a situation where Garrett Wilson also creates a little bit more separation, which is not always easy when you have a opposite hash quarterback to a very far flanked out wide receiver with a corner with inside leverage. It's gonna be hard for him to create a lot of separation to the sideline because he's already so close to it, right? So we have to acknowledge that as well. But it's an almost hell of a play by Garrett Wilson. Wilson shuffle, excite, exit. I don't know what the C is in there. Okay, so again, I cut these a little bit poorly right here, so I must have been, I don't know. But Wilson, bottom of the screen, right here, versus a soft shoe, no man's land type corner. But let's watch. Oh, excited. Yeah, the dab at the end. So you have Wilson versus it's a corner whose heads up. He's slightly inside leverage. You can see like right foot to right foot is almost lined up. So he's slightly inside leverage from Wilson. So Wilson uses a shuffle release, just subsequent lateral movements like that, slightly vertical as well, just to get on the DB's toes. But he's getting on the DB's toes while also widening him and hoping that his hips slightly angle off to the outside, which is exactly what it does. Plants hard in the ground. Gets that again. You could just see like the lower body flexibility. Gets out of that break really, really well outside of the frame. Drive step is that second step directly under him, and then flattens out, and he's open. Now the ball doesn't go there because Zach Wilson throws it to Mims. But you like the excitement after that play, even though he's open. He's excited that obviously they got the first down, little dab action. It's nice to see. You want your players doing that stuff when they don't get the ball. And Garrett Wilson is very excitable, but he's also excited for his teammates if they make a play as well. He just gets frustrated when plays aren't being made because he's just an ultimate competitor. Wilson track ball. Okay, so he's bottom of the screen right here. Let's watch. Okay, so we have the like the fake stalk block, and now in terms of tracking this ball, it's something we want to see him do a little bit better on this one. So fake stalk block, they're faking the bubble. He's going to take an outside release, fake it. He's going to block. Defender's eyes are now to the bubble. Gets past him vertically. Does he use any? Let's see if he uses his hands. Yeah, like a swipe wipe. Gets vertical. Now the thing you want to see him do here is track that ball a little bit better and attack the ball instead of kind of fading away and drifting away from the ball. And obviously the defender runs into him, which obviously pushes him farther down the field as well. But we can see the ball lands in front of him. The ball lands in, it comes inside and in front of him. So he jumps here very, very early, and he doesn't track it super well because the ball is very far, outside of kind of where he jumped. So you can see how early he jumps, and yes, he would have to fight across the inside to get to this ball, but you want to see that instead of jumping and fading away from it. And even if that corner's not there, I don't think he even catches it. I don't think that DB maybe pushed him back a little bit, but I don't think like I said, I don't think he's catching it regardless. So you want to see him track that ball a little bit better, attack the ball, not jump so early. We have Wilson unorthodox, extra stab. Yeah, I think so. I think I labeled this in later on in the review, I started calling like a dead leg, like a secondary dead leg release. We'll see from him on the bottom right here when I'm talking. I believe this is it. Yeah, he does. I love he does that. It's unorthodox, but I love it. So stems vertically at the DB at the high at the DB over the top, and he he goes like he almost stops and then stops again. Like it's almost like it's almost like a dead leg where it's subsequent movements with one leg up, even though it's really like um stop, skip, stop. But that's just to eat up space, but it's also throwing him off because right here the DB is thinking, okay, he's throwing his stop step, he's going to be braking, and then once he continues vertical, that gets the DB just thinking. You could see he's in his back pedal. Oh, a break is coming. Nope, a break's not coming. Now you see the weight transfer from back pedal to okay, he's going to break to oh crap, he's not. We're looking at the DB now. Oh crap, he's not going to break, and you could tell it completely screws him up. His feet are now together, and he's off balance. Wilson breaks to the inside on a dig, but it's just because of unorthodox route running. It's just not a typical thing you see. It's almost like a rocker. 1, 2, 1, 2. So break to the inside, win. It's just a timing thing. You're not people aren't used to seeing releases like this. Yeah, I would call it like a dead leg secondary release. It's really really interesting, but it works. Like it works. Hand usage dive. Okay. Bottom of the screen right here. Obviously corner press out heavy outside leverage. Yeah. So he's running an out, but he's running an out versus outside leverage. So he's hoping to get the DB to open his hips up to the inside, hopefully a little bit early, and then he can undercut him with some hand usage to get to the outside. So comes off the ball, he just gets even off the line, gets even, releases to the inside. Again, DB opens up. Garrett Wilson, he initially chops the hand and then uses the push by to get over the top. Again, a little bit unorthodox. You typically, if guys are typically going to do this, they'll bend it to the inside. They'll bend it even a little bit into the corner here, and then use the push by. But Garrett Wilson, in this instance, chops the hand, continues vertical, chops the hand again. Now I don't know if he was going to potentially chop go use the push by here, and maybe that DB's arm caught Garrett Wilson's bicep a little bit, which doesn't allow his arm to completely extend. So then he resets, take another steps, vertical, push by, punch through with the other arm, wipe that hand away, get out on the outside break, dive for the ball, secure it. It's a good job. Get inside, get him to open his hips up and over the top. Almost like a double push by, even though it's like a swipe, wipe, and then a push by. But good job with the hand usage. Good job diving. Because even if he were to not meaningfully, but even if it was on purpose where he chops that hand down, it's completely fine. Like even if it wasn't just a push by, it's a good job of getting that hand off of you because you don't want that hand attached when he's going to push by. Because if that right hand is attached to the shoulder, if he goes to use the push by, that hand can prohibit Garrett Wilson's hand from going onto the back. And generally just slows him down. So it's good hand usage to clear himself before he even uses the push by. It's really hell of a job. Wilson skip chop. Okay, right here, heavy inside leverage corner. So comes off the ball, skip step, skip, skips to eat ground, also reading the corner, gets on his toes, play inside, outside with the head nod, skip, one stride, and you can tell it's a little bit shortened. Why is that shortened? Because if he were to just take this fully into him, let's say this steps another, couple of feet forward, and then this right foot comes forward, then guess what? He might have in that instance eaten up too much ground, and now it gets compacted. So good job shortening that stride. Good job just like feeling the range he has. nod to the outside, which gets the corner to sit and start to open to the outside. Obviously now his weight transfers from his right to his left, back to his right, gets him off balance. Wilson breaks to the inside, arm over, chop down that inside arm. Jump. Now, again, ideally he catches the ball with slants. When slants are coming at you 100 miles per hour, when you're only 5 yards away, are really hard to target sometimes. So he jumps up here and catches it a little bit with his chest, which is not ideal, but still, he makes a play. And the thing we can talk about is, okay, if this is a play where it's not 2nd and 4 or whatever like that, where you're trying to get a first down, could you ask him to cut a little bit flatter? Yeah, it's all dependent on the relationship and how much separation he feels from this DB. If he feels he created enough separation horizontally, then he can take it vertical. But if he's right on his hip, you really can't take it vertical. But he has enough room, catches it, cool. Good slant. Wilson TD throw by. Top of your screen. Yeah, so now and I was sitting like quite literally like right here. Like right here. A couple rows up, but like right around this area. And I remember just seeing him on the ground, like because you're looking, there's so much happening, obviously. I remember seeing him wide open, him on the ground. I think a penalty flag came after this play too. I'm like, oh well, it was fun. But yeah, the penalty flag dropped there, and I was like, dude, there's no way that's not a penalty on the Jets, but it wasn't. So facing a corner, off coverage, just slightly off and heavy outside leverage, it's gonna be very, very hard for him to take this outside, to take this route stem outside, get outside leverage on the guy who's fighting to maintain his outside leverage, and then break outside. So instead, kind of like the last play, or a couple of plays ago, where he's going to stem to the inside, but from the opposite side this time instead of the left. Now he's from the right, stem him to the inside, hope that he opens up his hips, uses a push by to get outside. It's the same thing, just opposite side. So comes off the ball, again, skip. Actually, this is a hop. So hop step, but still it's very, very similar. It just depends on which way you want to break. If he's going to skip here, then he has to break he's going to break it to the outside off his left. So because he's breaking the inside, he hops, hop, inside release, stops, or stop step, break step, drive, or he tries to drive to the outside, but obviously there's contact. But he uses a push by and puts the hand onto the back of the defender, pushes him by, left arm comes over the top to finish the job, maintain that separation, push him off of you. He falls because of the contact. Garrett Wilson breaks to the outside. Easy money touchdown right there.